We do want to end this war. We want peace. We want to save our people, first of all, our country. And it is Putin who doesn't want peace and is obsessed with territorial conquests. He wants our cities or the ruins that remain of them. And that is why we need strength. We need to force Russia to seek peace. We need to make Russia cities and even Russian soldiers think about what they need, peace or Putin. And it is realistic to push them to choose peace. Dear our partners, dear our friends, I want to say a few things now in public and some things later without the press. You all know that we are operating with a minimum of weaponry. Yes, we are grateful very much.
This is my video update on this Friday afternoon, September the 6th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the CNN Christian Amanpour interview with the Ukraine military commander Syrsky. And CNN, they posted on X that, what did they post on X? They posted on X that everything is going all right in Ukraine. That is what they posted. Quote, there's a quote from Syrsky, "Our strategy is working." That's what CNN posted on X. Exclusive, "Our strategy is working." The commander-in-chief of Ukraine's army sat down with Amanpour today for his first TV interview to discuss the status of the war at this critical time. Our strategy is working. Whose strategy is Syrsky talking about? Is he talking about Ukraine's strategy or Russia's strategy? It's hard to tell with Syrsky. But yeah, Christian Amanpour sat down with Commander Syrsky. Commander Syrsky, this is Christian Amanpour, international correspondent and sophisticated journalist. I have one question to ask you, Commander Syrsky. How is the war going in Ukraine? Our strategy is working, Christian. When you say our strategy, Commander Syrsky, as a very sophisticated journalist and international correspondent, I have to ask, what do you mean by our strategy? Christian Amanpour, very sophisticated journalist and international correspondent, has an exclusive interview with military commander Syrsky. So what did Syrsky say? Well, Syrsky said that everything is going great, as planned. Everything is going as planned. He said that the problems are in Pokrovsk. He said that's where there's a problem, but he said that the Ukraine military has been able to hold back Russia in Pokrovsk. I don't know what he's talking about there. He said that in Kursk, everything is going well. And the strategy of diverting Russian forces away from other parts of the front line to Kursk kind of worked. Syrsky said that it worked because, according to him, he has seen a lightening of Russian artillery strikes, artillery attacks, with the exception of Pokrovsk, across other parts of the front line. That's how he is rationalizing the success of the Kursk operation. He is saying that the Russians have had to tone down things in other parts of the front line, with the exception of Pokrovsk, and that's how he knows that the Kursk diversion is working. Syrsky's delusional, man. He is delusional. He is trying to explain away the debacle that is Kursk. I wonder if he realizes that he's on the chopping block once the whole thing collapses. I wonder if Syrsky has gotten the memo that he's going to take the fall, and he's going to be an easy an easy person to pin this all on. He's going to make a very easy patsy for Zelensky and co. because unlike Zelensky, no one likes Syrsky. They consider him to be well, he's Russian, and then they consider him to not be trustworthy. So he's going to make a very easy scapegoat when everything comes undone. I wonder if Syrsky has caught on to that. Syrsky did reveal that Ukraine, they train their recruits, their soldiers, that they grab up off the streets and they throw them in vans. He revealed that they get about 2.5 to 3 months of training, about 1 month in basic training, about another month and a half, maybe 2 months in specialized training, and then they're thrown to the front lines. He did admit that. And he said, an admission as to how bad things are in Ukraine, Syrsky said that they're having to train everybody so quickly because they have no other choice. They have to get people to the front line quickly. A type of admission that the attrition is working, and they don't have time to really train the soldiers, the recruits adequately. So that's the interview with Syrsky, with Christian Amanpour. And we have news from the UK that they are going to be sending $213 million in a defense package. Air defense missiles is what the UK is going to send. They will supply Ukraine with 650 lightweight multi-role missiles, LMM missiles. And from what I understand, these missiles have a 6-kilometer range. That's adequate to shoot drones. But what Alexander is telling me is that Russia's making 4,000 drones. Is Russia making 4,000 drones a day or a month? A day, or they're launching thousands. They're launching thousands of drones a week. So 650 missiles, which the only use of these LMM missiles is to take out the drones. That's going to last a couple of days, a couple of weeks tops. But that's all the UK has. That is all they have to send. The strategy from the collective West, from Sullivan and his crew, is to Sullivan, Blinken, Austin, is to keep Ukraine going until January 2025, until after the inauguration. You got to imagine that's the strategy. Get them to November 2024. Ideally, get them past the inauguration so you don't have a collapse of the Zelensky regime. And then whether it's Trump or Harris, Sullivan, Austin, Blinken, they're Audi 5000. What do they care? So that's what we see going on. They're trying to keep Ukraine going a couple of months more, a couple of weeks more. And that's why you had the shakeup with Kuleba. It does look like that shakeup happened after Yermak went to D.C. to meet with Sullivan, and in order to centralize more control to the Zelensky regime and to try and keep things going a little bit longer, they had to get rid of a terrible foreign minister. I mean, the guy was a diplomatic disaster, Kuleba, and he pissed off Poland in a big way. So we had a report coming from Ukraine. I think the Ukraine energy officials, energy company, and they put out a report saying that this winter, if the Russians go after the energy grid this winter, it's going to be a freaking disaster. That is what they said. Ukraine warns residents of crippling winter power cuts. The upcoming cold months will be challenging for the population amid growing energy woes, according to a report. I don't know where I'm walking to or where I'm walking towards, just kind of wandering. I'm wandering in the center of Nicosia, where everything has just kind of closed down, man. Everything is just closed down. Nothing to see, nothing to show. A lot of graffiti. A lot of empty buildings. So, yeah, the report said that if Russia wants to take apart the energy grid, they're going to be able to do it this winter. This is going to be the winter that if Russia wants to hit the energy grid and completely dismantle it, it can happen. And it's going to be extremely tough for the citizens of Ukraine. So Bild, they put out an article talking about Poltava and the Russian missile strike in Poltava. And Bild had to admit that, one second, that in Poltava, at this training facility, it was indeed an institute for military communications, and that there were soldiers from all over Ukraine and more. Soldiers from everywhere were at this facility being trained. Being trained by who? That is the big question. Sweden is starting to deny that they were doing the training. Other reports are saying that it was indeed Sweden that was taking the lead in training these Ukrainian troops in communications. We did have the Swedish foreign minister resign, didn't we? Right after what happened in Poltava. Is it connected? I don't know. Don't know. Tobias Billström. He resigned, saying he will leave politics. He's done from politics. No more politics for Tobias. That is what he said. So whatever, who knows if this is connected? Whatever happened in Poltava really was devastating if his resignation is connected to Poltava. Once again, Sweden denies it. They are saying that a lot of the stories, or at least one of the stories, about Poltava is fake news, one of the stories. But Bild is saying, look, this was a training center, a communications military training center, and there were Ukrainian soldiers from all over Ukraine being trained at this center. So Pavel Durov, he has spoken out for the first time since his arrest. He put out a very long post on Telegram, of course, not on WhatsApp. On Telegram, he put out a very long post, and he said a lot of things. He said a lot of things about his arrest. The main point that he made about his arrest, the main thing that I got out of it, was that Durov said that France, usually, if a country has a problem with Telegram, what they will usually do is they will contact Telegram. And he said Telegram is very easy to get in touch with. He said as far as Europe and the EU goes, they have a dedicated email. I think he said they even have a person in France, like in France, that the French authorities, the French government can get in contact with if they suspect something shady is going on. But he said usually what would happen is the government gets in touch with the platform, and if they have a problem with the platform, then the authorities, they go after the platform, or they get in touch with the platform. You don't arrest the CEO. That was the main point that Durov made in his statement. And he said, look, what kind of entrepreneurship, what kind of startups, innovation are you going to get in Europe when you go after the CEO of the company? How can you expect any entrepreneur to take the risk and build a platform, a business in Europe, when they have the risk that if Macron wakes up one day on the wrong side of his bed and he wants to go after the company, the CEO, he can go after the CEO. People are going to be scared to innovate in Europe. That was a good point that Durov made, but that was pretty much the gist of his statement. So we had another arrest in the United States, or maybe a potential first arrest in the U.S. going after going after journalists who they say are breaking sanctions against Russia or working with Russia or violating FARA. And according to the New York Times, the Biden White House, the FBI, the DOJ, they are charging Dmitry Simes and his wife, actually, as well, American citizens, Russian, but they are American citizens. And I believe they are living in Virginia. The New York Times says that Dmitry Simes is now in Russia. I don't know if that's true, but in the article, in their reporting, they say that he is currently in Russia and not in the United States. But they are saying that he helped Russia violate U.S. sanctions, and he violated U.S. sanctions by working with Russia. I think he was working with Channel 1, Russia Channel 1, if I'm not mistaken. And him and his wife are being charged for violating U.S. sanctions. This could mean 20 years in prison. If they are in Russia, well, then they're as safe as can be if they're in Russia. You're not going to go back to the United States, are you? But yeah, you have I think this is the first significant charges being brought up against a journalist who the United States, the Biden White House, says is connected to Russia or working with a Russian media channel. He's working with Channel 1, and they are saying he is violating U.S. sanctions. In the charges, I read through the New York Times article, and they talk about how Simes was being paid by Channel 1. He was working for the Russian government, violating sanctions. They claim he helped an oligarch launder money or invest in the United States or stuff like that. I don't even, just stuff like that, throwing all kinds of various allegations and charges at him. But the basic premise of this arrest and everything that's going on is that they're going after journalists. They've started to go after journalists who they believe have violated the sanctions policy against Russia. So that's the story there, and I guess we can move on to what's going on in France, huh? And Macron has appointed a prime minister, Michel Barnier. Remember this guy? This is the guy that was negotiating Brexit, at first with Theresa May, then with Bojo the Clown. Michel Barnier, the EU negotiator during Brexit. This guy is more EU than Ursula, right? Macron might as well have appointed Ursula as Prime Minister of France. That's how globalist EU this guy is. And it looks like it's going to come down to how Le Pen votes, because Mélenchon and the Left Umbrella Alliance, they have said that they're not going to vote for Barnier to become prime minister in the parliament. And Macron's going to need Le Pen's National Rally votes so that Barnier can be appointed the prime minister of France. They say that Macron has already met with Le Pen. And they are saying that Le Pen is going to she will most likely abstain, and she will tell her party to abstain, or that there will be some people in her party that will give the necessary votes for Barnier to become prime minister. They're working on some sort of deal. And the reasoning is that Barnier, for Le Pen, he has signaled that he agrees with some of Le Pen and National Rally's views on immigration and the borders and stuff like that. That is why Le Pen might say, okay, we're not going to block Barnier as prime minister, but it's just going to be a stopgap, right? Eventually, this guy's 73 or 74 years old. He'll stick around for a year or two, and eventually it's going to collapse, and you will have to go to elections. That's how things look. But that's the big news in France. And finally, we go to Lavrov. And Lavrov, he said that Turkey's intentions to join BRICS seems sincere. He said they look serious. Lavrov, he said that he actually confirmed what I've been saying for the past couple of videos, which is that BRICS does not have any type of blocks on countries wishing to join BRICS if they're part of another institution. If they're part of other institutions, there's no type of restriction to join BRICS. Lavrov is obviously talking about NATO, because Turkey is in NATO. There is no problem with Turkey joining BRICS as well. That's what Lavrov said in a statement, and he said that Turkey is serious about joining BRICS. It's not going to happen in the short term, but give it a couple of years, and you may be seeing Turkey inside of BRICS. What else is there before we get to our clown world? The Wall Street Journal, they are reporting that they still haven't been able to figure out what happened with the F-16 crash. Can't figure it out. They're conducting an investigation, but they just can't figure out what happened. They are signaling at, I believe, they're signaling at the lack of training. Ukraine's loss of an F-16 fighter jet weeks after a handful of the aircraft arrived in the country is making Western officials wonder whether the decision to accelerate pilot training was wise, the Wall Street Journal reported on Thursday. So that is what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. Can't figure out what caused the crash. It wasn't Russia. Just remember that, everybody. Russia did not hit the F-16. Russia did not bring down the F-16. It wasn't Russia. Everything else is being considered, but Russia, no way. No way did Russia take out the first F-16. That did not happen, because if that did happen, that would be very embarrassing. So that did not happen. Most likely, the fault is the accelerated pilot training. That's what the Wall Street Journal is saying. So let's do some clown worlds, I guess. How we doing on time? This will be a quick video this Friday. Clown world. Trump, he reacted to Putin's endorsement of Harris. Trump reacted to Putin, saying that not only does he support Harris, but Putin is also captivated by Harris's laugh and positivity. There are people that think that Putin wasn't trolling. He was trolling, man. There's like analysts who believe that Putin is actually endorsing Harris. Putin doesn't care. He doesn't care if Trump wins. He doesn't care if Harris wins. He has said that when Biden was in the race, that Biden is predictable, and he's right. Biden is 1,000% predictable, predictably incompetent, but predictable. But he doesn't care. I mean, I think the Kremlin, Russia, they understand that whoever's going to become president, the situation's not going to really change in the short term. Maybe Trump can do something, but I don't think Russia's betting on it. So he was trolling, yeah. He was absolutely trolling. But Trump said he, Putin, endorsed Kamala. And I didn't know if I was supposed to call him up and say, thank you very much. I don't know exactly what to say about it. I don't know if I'm insulted or he did me a favor, Trump claimed during an event at the Economic Club of New York. So that's what Trump said about the Putin endorsement. And the White House, we are getting reports that the White House is very upset with Putin for endorsing Kamala. Stop talking about our elections, period. U.S. warns Putin after he endorses Kamala Harris. Isn't that interesting? Stop talking about our elections, says the United States. Stop interfering in our elections. That is what the United States is telling Putin. Oh, man, that's what the White House is telling Putin. Oh, boy. that Russian interference, huh? It never stops. Just leave the United States alone, my God. Why do you keep on interfering, Russia? Can't you just leave the US alone so they can exercise their democracy? $10 million. That's how much it costs to subvert America's democracy. $10 million, according to the DOJ and what they are saying about the latest Russiagate scandal. So I think Tim Pool and Benny Johnson, if you go to their Twitter feeds, they're saying the Biden White House, the DOJ, they are saying that Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, who were associated with Tenet Media, that they were duped by RT and by Russia, right? They were duped into posting content, pro-Kremlin content. You know, pro-Kremlin content like inflation is bad. That's pro-Kremlin content. Inflation is not good for the economy. Yeah, so they have a flag of Ukraine now on their profile. They have a flag of Ukraine, they have a flag of Israel. Tim Pool tweeted out, posted on X, Slava Ukraini. Yeah, you see, Tim Pool is falling in line, right? He's falling in line with the globalist neocon deep state. He's trolling. He's trolling, but he's fallen in line, as is Benny Johnson, as is Dave Rubin. It looks like they got the message. Support the never-ending wars. Damn it. Support the never-ending wars, or else you are a Kremlin propagandist. So we have an update on the whale. The whale in Norway, right? Vladimir with an H. Looks like he was shot. And who are they blaming? Who is the collective West blaming, or at least who is the Daily Star blaming? They are saying that Putin is to blame for Vladimir for being shot. That is what they are running with. I think I just did a circle, by the way. But yeah, Daily Star, Mad Vlad had spy whale whacked. Putin did it. Russia did it, of course. They're interfering in elections. They're taking out whales. I guess the whale knew too much, right? The whale just knew too much. And so the whale had to be eliminated. Oh, boy. Anyway, I think that's everything for today. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch, like the t-shirt that I am wearing today in this video. Link in the description box down below. Take care.